Climate change is affecting all of us. And wildlife are reacting to these changes by changing where they're getting their food, where they're seeking shelter, and where they're migrating to.
Impending loss of our critical public lands.
It's up to us to really make sure we set a good, solid foundation.
What might the future look like if we actually can solve this and do something about it?
Sage grouse are one of the most iconic birds in the West. Over the last 50 years, they have declined about 80%. They're an important indicator species for climate change because they rely heavily on the sagebrush ecosystem. There's over 390 species that depend on sagebrush and a healthy sagebrush ecosystem. Everything from big game animals, antelope, elk, mule deer in the winter are critically dependent on a healthy sagebrush ecosystem to get them through those winter months, all the way down to pygmy rabbits, jackrabbits, and obviously the sage grouse. And we are losing it at record rates.
The number one threat to wildlife populations and to diversity is habitat loss. And that's been increasing at a faster rate over time because of anthropogenic development from humans, from human populations.
Those antelope are survivors here in Nevada. When those big fires came across in northern Nevada in the last number of years, the pronghorn actually survived better than the mule deer. It was a relief to us that at least the pronghorn were surviving. I don't want to say they were thriving, but they were surviving. So if a species as adaptable as pronghorn are being impacted, then we're pretty late to the game.
The good thing is there's a lot of activities and actions that we can take in order to at least prevent the rapid loss and try to find ways of how to keep those 390 species dependent on the sagebrush ecosystem.
Moving away from fossil fuels and relying on clean energy resources like wind and solar are the opportunity that we have to counter climate change and also the biodiversity loss that we're seeing everywhere throughout the United States. Right now, 20% of our electricity already comes from renewables. This is our opportunity to meet the moment. What many people don't realize is that it doesn't matter how much clean energy we bring online if we don't have a sufficient clean energy grid to make sure that that energy reaches our homes, our businesses, and our hospitals. So that means that we need to upgrade our existing grid and build out new clean energy and build out the transmission lines to move that energy. And we can do it in a way that mitigates impacts to wildlife, their critical habitats, and their migratory corridors.
We can build these structures using the best available science, using the best available technology, and doing it in the right places. Because from an ecological perspective, there's some places that are just absolutely too important, too diverse to lose or degrade. So we had to take a very thoughtful approach when we're considering where to do these development types.
If we can somehow tie future disturbance like transmission lines that are very much needed to support our transition to renewable energy, if we can tie those building plans of transmission lines to already existing infrastructures like highways, existing power lines, that is going to be much better than going through, say, virgin sagebrush habitat.
We should be utilizing all of our existing transmission lines as we can, because one thing that tends not to get evaluated in these plans is the cost of habitat fragmentation.
So there really is this conservation ethic that needs to be instilled in all of us, and primarily the hunting community has that ethic.
It's incredibly important that we continue the research and keep bringing it up as a topic. It's a possibility for the two to coexist together.
This is the opportunity for you to lead the decision-making processes for the land that you're connected to.
It is a piece of the puzzle. However, it should be done strategically and in a manner that makes sense.
We can build new transmission lines along existing roads and train tracks to minimize impacts to habitat and wildlife. Planting native grasses and plants along transmission corridors can help protect pollinator species and biodiversity.
We really need to be doing things now We have the tools, we have the technology, we have the smarts to do something. So why wait any longer? There's no need to.
If we're going to enjoy these areas and have our children enjoy these areas, that is our fight to take, and that is what we need to focus on and really come together as a sporting community and say, we care about our landscape health, because when you take care of the landscape, the animals will follow suit.